Hey everybody, it's Melissa and we're reviving the series where I talk about the fragrance that got me a compliment today. And I say I'm reviving it, but I'll do it sporadically. Like this video, then the next one will probably be, I don't know, maybe in a couple months or so, because this was a very consistent series that I used to do, but it quickly ended. It was very short-lived within the span of maybe under a month because people were getting tired of it basically being the same sort of fragrances that I was getting complimented on. And mind you, y'all, even though you know that I have my favorites, right? I still test different scents and do daily wears of them. Like a lot of niche brands, like I'll get a bunch of samples and sometimes people will send me their fragrances and I would try them on and see how they wear and do all of that. And even with all that, a lot of the times, 99% of the time, people don't care for those fragrances. A lot of the times, majority of fragrances are pretty mid or forgettable, right? So that's just something I'm not sure people were aware of during that series, is that I was wearing other fragrances around other people, whether it's people I knew or strangers, and they just did not care for them. But the ones that y'all have seen me ride for like the past couple years and stuff like that, there's a reason why I talk about them a lot, even though you guys would be irritated to constantly hear it. But I think that consistency is better than me just, oh, I'm going to talk about a new fragrance so that it doesn't come across as stale. But even though it didn't get me the same reactions as this one, I'm just going to tell my followers about it. So it's a breath of fresh air. You know, if you want a breath of fresh air and new fragrance videos, that's what my individual reviews and my first impressions are for. But I'm not going to go lie to you and tell you, oh guys, yeah, this fragrance gets you so many compliments, it's so good, when it's not. If it can't crack the top, then it doesn't belong on the list. You know what I'm saying? So today, I received a fragrance compliment I received a compliment on my fragrance called Bond Number 9. I received a compliment on Lafayette Street from Bond Number 9. How many times am I going to mess up one sentence, all right? I actually went on a drive with my sister today. We had some business to handle, right? So I decided to do 4 sprays of Lafayette Street. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was on clothes. I have people ask me whenever I show them how I apply my fragrances or how to apply a fragrance, they're like, Melissa, should I apply it on the clothes? Or should I apply it on my bare skin, then put my clothes over it? And it's like, I apply it exactly how I worded in the video. You know what I mean? I'm not telling y'all to strip down, then apply your fragrance, then put your clothes back on. You know, so it's just the way you see it is the exact way I do it. But I did 4 sprays of this fragrance, I think 3 or 4 hours ago. It's still going strong, by the way. It smells so good. I actually got complimented on this scent from my sister the second that I got into her car. Maybe not the second, but the minute that I was in her car, we were driving and she said, damn, you smell really good. And that is a big thing, because if you are an OG to my channel, then you know that my sister, for the most part, she has, you know, the type of nose that the people around you will have, right? The general public. And she was the one that actually told me in the car today, she's like, I know you try a lot of fragrances, but most of them, they all just kind of end up smelling the same, or there's nothing really special, but that one smells really good. So she was asking me about it, and I told her it's called Lafayette Street, and she's like, what's the brand? And I said Bond 9, but she does not know this brand. Even with me talking about fragrances and stuff, she's not up to date and really in the know about all these different sort of niche houses. She knows Raja, because I've talked about them a lot. She knows Precious Liquid, Parfums de Marly. But this one is a fairly new house to her. And throughout our drive, she was just like, this is one of the best fragrances you've worn in a long time. And she says, damn, she's like, I feel like I can pull that off, or I can wear that too. And I'm like, you can. It is a unisex fragrance. To me, it does go more on the masculine side. I didn't tell her that while she was expressing her love for the scent. To her, she thought that this was just straight up, like right down the middle, a very unisex sort of fragrance. She's a very feminine type of woman. So I really feel like this can work on anybody. But to me, it does go a little bit more on the masculine side. So Lafayette Street on me is appley. And then it has ambroxan. If you don't know what ambroxan is, it just helps project the fragrance. You know, it gives it some good performance at that. And then there's some vanilla in the dry down with it. Also a touch of tonka bean. If you don't know what tonka bean is, smells a little bit powdery, in my opinion. If you're a fan of like powdery stuff, you're probably gonna love tonka bean. But for me, not too big a tonka bean fan, so I'm glad that it's not a prominent note on me, or it's not as noticeable, but the apple is noticeable. And I believe there's some other fresh elements to this scent that I like. To her, she said there's something about it. She's like, I don't think it's mint, but something about it kind of smells a bit minty. I'm not sure what it is either, right? But when I told her that it smells kind of appley to me, and then a little bit vanilla, she's like, yeah, I can kind of like see the apple, but there was just something that she really gravitated to with this scent. So again, the only fragrances that she has ever had that sort of reaction to when I've worn a scent and when I've been testing stuff have been Lafayette Street, Tuxedo by YSL, I think it was Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid, Elysium by Roger Parfums, La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL, and those are the main ones that I can think of right now. And the thing is, if I have to think harder, that means that fragrance didn't really stand out. But those are like the 5 scents that she was like, that smells so good. That we were in the middle of a conversation and she's like, hold on. And then she was driving, and then she was still like kind of leaning over the console. She's like, dude, that's fantastic. She's like, that smells so good. So I had to make a video because I know a lot of you've probably seen my videos with my sister. She keeps it real 100% of the time, and a lot of you really trust her opinion with stuff like that. So I had to share what she thought about Lafayette Street. And it's very similar. Like, I get very similar reactions like that when I do wear this fragrance. I haven't received the compliment from a stranger in passing yet. It's been people that I knew when I've just given them hugs or passed by them, but it's amazing. Lafayette Street on me does perform over 7 hours. Like, it lasts. After the 7-hour mark, it's not going to be as noticeable as it was and as consistent in the beginning, but trust me, it's still there. So I do about, it kind of depends. If I'm going to just stay indoors, I don't mind doing 3 sprays of Lafayette Street, but if I wanted to stay on me for the rest of the day, I could do a little bit over 7 sprays. I don't think I would even have to push past 10. I think 10 is a little bit much for me wearing something like Lafayette Street, because this does have really good performance, but super likable. This fragrance, I think the one thing people really trash on it for is that it lacks a personality, but that's what you're there for. You know what I'm saying? Your fragrance isn't supposed to be your personality, right? So you have the personality, you have the charisma, and you have an amazing fragrance like Lafayette Street to wear to just, I don't know, make you more attractive in that way. But yeah, that's what I have to say about it. Really, really good. Very, very usable in a professional setting, but also, of course, if you want to keep it casual. I mean, you guys literally see what I am wearing. I am in a crew neck right now wearing something like Lafayette Street, and it still works. So the versatility of this fragrance is amazing. And if you want, I will have a discount link for it in the description box and pin in the comment section below. You guys do not have to purchase from there if you don't want to, because complete transparency, it's an affiliate link. So if you make a purchase off that link, I get a slight bit of commission. So please, please, please buy where you're comfortable. I want y'all to know that. And yeah, if you want to open up a new tab and just search it that way, you can do it. But for everybody that wants to support the channel, I appreciate you a lot. All right, so Lafayette Street, definitely one of my, oh gosh, this is quickly becoming such a favorite of mine in my collection. And you'll see at the end of this month when I do my top 5 where it stands in my rankings. Well, I just basically spoiled it that it's in my top 5 for the month, but oh, it's so good. Been loving, loving, loving the DNA of the scent. And for everybody that owns this fragrance, let me know in the comment section what you think about it. And the last thing I'll say, because it kind of slipped my mind, is people will ask me, is it worth it to blind buy Lafayette Street? I'm always hesitant with telling y'all what's worth it to blind buy unless it's a fragrance that's under $50. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like at that point, you're not really going to have buyer's remorse. You're like, okay, I bought a $30, $25 fragrance, and even though I don't like it, it's not going to hold me over that bad, right? But I'm cautious with the niche ones, but this is what I'll say if you do decide to pull the trigger and buy this fragrance, is that it's not a scent that's just going to end up collecting dust in your collection. And this is specifically for the people that don't have hundreds of bottles, all right? This isn't for the collectors, but this is for the people that are looking for a good daily fragrance and they're looking for something that they could truly use. Even if you blind buy this and you wear it and you are not a fan of it, I promise you, when you go out that day, that afternoon, or that night, and this fragrance is still on you, you're gonna notice that you will get positive attention with this scent. You will receive compliments from this fragrance because it is very versatile. So many people love it. It's super, super sexy. And I mean, who doesn't want to be known as the best smelling person when you walk into a room, right? So to a normal person, when those events happen, even if you yourself aren't the biggest fan of it, you'll be like, all right, I know that if I go to some sort of social event or anything where I want to be at my best, whether it's presentation wise, you're meeting new people, whether it's a wedding, a gala, something, you're like, okay, I can throw on Lafayette Street for those occasions. It could be just my dumb reach fragrance, right? When you're not trying to be too bold, you just want something that you know is going to work. Then that is why this is going to get good use in your collection, because it does its job. It's not a bold, polarizing scent that you're like, oh, I have to reserve it. It does not matter, literally the situation. You can throw on Lafayette Street. That's kind of how I feel about Side Effect by Inicio. It's not a fragrance that I love. Personally, I hardly even wear it. But I know that, okay, if I'm going to a bonfire or it's a nighttime sort of event, I'm meeting new people or I'm hanging out with people, I want something nobody else is going to be wearing. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Side Effect, it's just an easy one to pull for. I'm like, okay, let me do a couple sprays of that. And sure enough, that night, people just flock all over it. They love that scent. It's going to be the same thing with Lafayette Street. More of a daytime scent, but you can wear it in the nighttime. But my favorite from Bond 9, hands down. All right, so that is my mini rant and my mini spiel about this fragrance before I just keep gushing about it for the next hour and a half. But let me know what you think in the comments. And again, I'll have a link for it in the comment section below if you want to support the channel and if you want to get your hands on it for a ridiculously good price. All right, have a good one. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.